Hi, my name is Abiodun. I stay in Abuja. I'm a product manager at Techlytics.
Right. Thank you, Abiodun, for joining us and welcome, listen. It's so good to have you on the call. So, who else would like to introduce him or herself? Please feel free to introduce yourself. You can drop a message in the chat room in case you don't want to talk, but would like to hear your beautiful voice. All right. Thank you, Ogorochuku. Please go for it.
Hi, my name is Ogoshuko
Oh,
Ofe.
I'm
I'm
so
a
sorry
research and
about
data
that.
analyst. Yeah, it's totally fine.
All right.
I'm a research and data analyst. Yeah, I used to work in like crypto, but like now I'm transiting to traditional banking. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Gochuku. I'm so glad to have you on the call. Thank you for joining us and thank you for the introduction. So, okay, Zeno, please go for it. Thank you.
Um, my name is Elma Zino, and I'm a civil engineer. I work with New Netics International. I used to work in the bank with Tayo, but I'm kind of wanting to transfer into tech since that's where the money is now.
All right, Zeno. It's so glad to have you on the call. And I'm glad that you want to transition into tech. I've also worked in the bank in the past. I've worked in a school, and now I'm now into tech. So that money that is there, we are looking for it together. So welcome. So thank you very much. So before we proceed to the training call, I would just like you to tell everyone about what we do at Techlytics. So you won't get bored of Techlytics because we do this in every free master classes that we have. So I'll just take like 2 or 3 minutes to tell you what we do and what we are up to right now. Thank you. So please, I'll be sharing my screen.
Hi everyone, my name is Mercy. Um, are we starting now? Are we done with the
Yeah.
introduction?
Yeah,
You
Mercy,
can
please go
continue.
on and introduce yourself.
My name is Mercy, and I did my master's in project management, and I'm hoping to switch into tech. That's why I did data analytics class with Techlytics, and it's been very insightful and impactful. I really enjoyed it, and I want to know more. And I think I've even registered for um what's it called? Something design, sorry, product design class. Yes, because Techlytics is very impactful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Messi, for that kind word. Thank you very much. And we are glad to have you on the call this evening. Thank you. So we'll just proceed with the introduction.
So I wanted to say, Tactics just has you making you want to learn and grow, right? My name is Isaiah. I'm a learner, always learning with Tactics.
Thank you, Isaiah, for that kind word. Like, yes, the word is about growing and learning. So you just have to keep on learning. And we are glad that you have chosen us as a learning partner. And we are always glad to have you with us. Thank you very much for the kind words.
Hello, Adenike, we can't hear you if you're speaking. Can anyone hear Adenike?
No, I can't hear.
Interesting.
I am so sorry about that.
Because like
I
you
was
were
actually
changing
muted
slides.
and I was, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry about that.
All right.
So I was actually muted and I didn't know. So let me start again. So I said while we're on the call, some of the people on the call have told us about Techlytics, what we do and the likes, but I would just like to add more to it. So Techlytics is a technology workforce development and consulting organization. So there is two parts of Techlytics. We have the technology workforce development, that's the EdTech part of Techlytics, and we have the consulting part of Techlytics. So what we do in the EdTech is that we help individuals and professionals to upskill or to reskill, or those people that are just even trying to find their feet into tech, to get the necessary skills necessary for them to perform in their new roles or to make their roles better. So we have different training programs around data analytics, product analytics, low code, no code development, and also artificial intelligence. And we also consult for organizations that need consultation on tech. So what problem are we trying to solve? We all know that when COVID-19 came, there were a lot of, we were all indoor, and the way we work actually changed. A lot of remotes, where people had to work remotely, and a lot of new roles actually emerged. And people had to fill in those skills gap. So what we are trying to do at Techlytics is to help individuals to fill in those skill gaps and to fill into those emerging roles that are just coming up, and also to do their jobs in a better way. So the solution we are providing is to provide on-demand online courses to equip young professionals with the necessary skills to integrate and succeed in a tech or non-tech role in the workspace. And this would be achieved in partnership with other practicing professionals to provide best-in-class course content for the global market. So what is our attraction? Actually, we were formerly known as Rainmaker Online, and that was a YouTube channel that we actually used to dish out Excel tutorial in May 2020. We started that in May 2020, and we had 88 students from Rainmaker Online. We officially launched Techlytics in February 25, 2022. And since then, we have had over 800 new signups. We have completed over 100 lectures and 33 courses. Then on our YouTube channels, currently we have 299 subscribers. Please, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channels, kindly do so. I'll be dropping the link after this presentation. Thank you. So meet our best team at Techlytics. Techlytics is led by Oluwatayo Wikule, who is the founder and the lead trainer at Techlytics. Tayo is a chartered banker. She's a certified ML Excel specialist. She's a certified safe practitioner. Tayo is, I don't know, I like to talk about Tayo. Tayo is an extremely intelligent and amazing individual, and she's the one leading Techlytics. So our other team members, we have Jedida Okonko, who is a product manager. We have Abiodun, who is also a product manager. Myself, I'm a data analyst. We have Oreolu, our social media manager, and Timothy, our graphic designer. So on today's masterclass, we'll be talking about mastering product affinity analysis for effective cross-selling strategies with SQL. And those will be handled by Listen Abba. So this particular masterclass is a free taster section of our upcoming data school, which is starting in April. I'll still be telling us more about that after the section. So please stay with us. So thank you very much once again for joining us, and I'll be handing over to Linson for him to continue with the class. Mic check, please. Are you there, Linson?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Thank you very much. So please, you can take over from here. I'll stop sharing my screen.
All right, thank you. I'll share my screen now. You should let me know when you start seeing my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Okay, thank you. So good evening, everyone. My name is Linson Abba, and I'll be the one taking you for this short ride. My hope is that by the end of this whole session, you would have a broad insight into what product affinity analysis is all about and how it applies to cross selling. And it should also spur the hunger and driving you to want to know more and learn more and how we use SQL, which is SQL, to solve problems like this. So, for starters, I, before I go deep into this, I want to point out that I've been working as a data analyst for more than 5 or 6, for more than 5 years now. And every day you find out that data has to do with everyday activities, from your normal exercise to the kind of food you get from the market, the things, the groceries you choose to buy, to the type of products you choose to use. There's data. There's data in every bit of it. There's data point from where you buy the store you're buying the product from, and some of your decisions are also influenced by data. You saw someone buying something, or you went to the store to buy something, and you saw something that could complement what you bought, and you decided to buy it. You talk about things like product placement. You enter a store and you wonder why on the decks you find something like sweet, maybe anything that will cost very less so that you won't have to collect your change again. Because if you need a change of 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, the business wants you to spend that money, right? They don't want to give you the change. They tell you don't have change. Okay, can you take this little sweet? This is Tom Tom, this is Nichols, or any other thing you would like to take. To you it won't be anything, but if 100 customers come to the store that day and they are all able to take a sweet and forgo their 5 or 10 naira, the business will be making a lot of money. And decisions like that could to you appear as trivial, but they're not trivial decisions, right? They've been tested, they are based on data, and they've been proven to work. So for the purpose of this little session that we are having, I try to keep this as simple as possible. This is very broad. So here I say it essentially examines product customers tend to buy together. This information can be a good mind for businesses looking to boost sales and improve customer satisfaction. That's everything you need to know about product affinity analysis. You don't need to read any broad story about it. Basically, it looks at how products are bought together by customers. For example, you go to the store and you want to buy bread. After buying your bread, like, oh, I don't have Milo at home. You get Milo and you get milk, right? So you notice that if you're buying bread, you're definitely going to be buying Milo and you're definitely going to be buying milk. Then maybe close to that section, you're going to find something like egg, things that complement it. Because you can just buy bread and you're eating bread alone, it won't make sense to you. It's not going to be nice, it's not going to be delicious. So you find things that complement it and makes the bread more satisfying. That way, the store is giving the opportunity to derive better satisfaction from the purchase you're making. When you left your home, the plan was just to buy bread and go home, But by the time you got to the store, you notice that there is butter. You're like, oh, I don't have butter at home. I forgot about this. Let me buy butter. Remember, when you left home, you did not budget for butter. But because of where the company was able to place that particular butter, you bought butter, right? So you realize that here that is what product affinity analysis is going to focus on, looking at how it's a powerful tool for business to understand customer behavior and preferences by identifying patterns and association between different products. So this analysis helps to identify products and that are frequently bought together. So if you go to a store, if a customer comes to buy, for example, let's say a printer, the customer would want to buy ink, because by the time the customer gets home, the printer will be useless without the ink. After buying the printer, the customer will need to buy paper, right? The paper that they will use to print documents. Without buying the paper, the printer is going to be useless. You see that now. So when you come to a shop, the person selling the printer will say, you, oh, we have paper, we have ink that you can use with your printer. What the salesperson is doing there in that moment is cross-selling. The person is trying to give the customer other things that will help the customer derive better satisfaction from the product that the customer has just bought. So you may think, Oga, you today do. No, it's not Oga, you today do. The person is going to make, the salesperson is going to make money, and you as a customer, you are also going to derive satisfaction. So based on the few things I just said, you realize a few things here. That the goal of product affinity analysis is to identify frequently bought together products that customers tend to buy frequently. That is the goal. We want to identify those products. In a small business, it's a lot easier to identify stuff like this in the small business. But if you have a very big business, like let's say Jumia is an online store, right? There are lots of vendors just selling a lot of products. So if Jumia has a lot of data on all the sales that has been happening in the company, and you're just sitting on it, it's not to their advantage. So Jumia wants to be like, okay, a lot of things are being sold on this platform. How do we promote more sales? How do we place our product on this website such that customers will buy more than one item? A customer that is buying a chair, let's look at customers who have bought chair in the past. What type of table did they buy along with that chair? Or what other products did they buy along with that particular chair? That's what they're trying to look at here with product affinity analysis. The product, okay, for people who bought chair, they bought a particular brand of table. Next time, if another customer is on the platform trying to buy that particular chair, Jumia is going to be recommending that particular table to the customer. And I know you should be familiar with it. Whenever you go to a website and you are viewing some beauty product, for example, for the ladies, let's say you're viewing a particular, let's say, hair cream or a particular perfume, they'll tell you people who bought this also bought this, right? So that's product affinity analysis coming to play here. They've used existing data to understand customer behavior and what they tend to buy together, and now they want to make your life a lot easier. Yeah, it's making your life a lot easier, but you're spending a lot of money. But the good thing about it is that you end up driving satisfaction. The customer experience is a lot better for you. So you don't have to start searching for products that go along with the product you want to buy. Like, what goes with this? The business is going to answer that question for you. Yours is just to come. Your experience is going to be seamless because you don't have to search for things. Everything you need will come and meet you where you are. You're searching for a makeup product, they'll tell you people who bought this bought it together with this. So you would think it's random, but that is a lot of work that has gone on in the background by data professionals to understand what is happening in the business and to make those recommendations so that as long as you have the money, you can get the best service that you need. I want to confirm that you can still hear me, please.
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, thank you. So yeah, I've mentioned the method. I mentioned the goal. Don't forget the goal. Then the method is just basically to analyze customer transaction data to find association between items. I think while I was explaining the goal, I've already mentioned the method as well. As long as customer transaction data is absent, there's nothing you can do because you need historical data of your customers that have been transacting. Then you find that this is more advantageous to your existing customers, for example, and to also new customers. So for new customers, you realize that someone is coming to your website, for example, people who viewed this particular product also viewed this. You see stuff like that on the website. And it's just like the way you go to a canteen. Let me use something simple like a canteen, for example. You come there and you realize that a lot of people will be buying, for example, rice and beans, right? So if the customer does not have beans, you're like, you don't have beans, I'm not going to buy rice. You see the problem here now. So you tend to buy more of rice, but the beans is just to complement it. Yeah, you can derive satisfaction from buying rice alone. What if the person say, oh, I have rice and beans and I also have meat? Like, oh, that's good. I also have egg. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, give me rice, give me beans, give me egg and maybe 2 meat. What you wanted to eat was just rice. But because the person said, okay, I have this, you know that by taking the other items together, you're deriving more satisfaction. And the customer is the food vendor is also able to sell more to you. So imagine that your food vendor is recording all her daily sales somewhere, and she wants to expand her business. For example, she wants to rent a very big building. She can go back to the sales data and look at what customers tend to buy together more. And let's say she wants to put her business on child deck, for example, and she wants to create special packages that people can just order at once. She can use that existing experience as well to create a special menu for people to order. So you realize that it also applies to just daily things we do, like buying food. So we've spoken about product affinity analysis. Let's talk about some of the benefits of product affinity analysis. As I was talking, I mentioned some of them, and you will see them present here. For example, increase in sales through targeted promotions and upselling and cross-selling. Notice that our focus is going to be on this right here, which is cross-selling. That is where our focus is going to be. We wouldn't want to focus on other things. So when we talk about the remaining part of this session, the focus is going to be on cross-selling. But you realize that through product affinity analysis, you're able to identify customers that buy certain products, and you can choose to cross-sell. Cross-selling means to give the customers complementary items. You're not necessarily upselling. Upselling means to sell more expensive stuffs to them. But cross-selling here in this term means to give them items that will complement, to help them derive better satisfaction from the item that they have bought from you. Then here we talk about enhanced customer experience with relevant products recommendation. So because we already have historical data on what you buy and what other people buy, as you tend to shop through our stores, we can companies can place product in positions that help you to let's say you can receive email from, let's say, Jumia, for example. If you're their customer, they'll just recommend some products to you. Okay, we now have this product available, just come and check them up. Or they will give you discount and say, oh, we have some discount going on at the moment, you can come and check it. They are targeting you with relevant product recommendations. And it's also the same thing with checking for products online, and they also do that. Think about what's it called? Think about the some of your colleagues that sell clothes, on WhatsApp. You know, they populate their WhatsApp status with a lot of clothes. But realize that if you've bought something from them like once or twice, there are instances where they start chatting you up like, oh, we have this particular clothes. It's possible you bought a similar type of clothes or a cloth from a particular brand, and they notice you've bought that type of clothes from them like more than 2 or 3 times. Whenever that product is available, they're going to send you a personal message on WhatsApp and let you know that, oh, this brand, you like buying their products. I have their shoe now. I have their shirt. I have their knicker, right? It's simple and basic, but realize that it's not everybody that can do it. Then for large corporations, it's going to be a lot more complex, right? For you to be able to find the customers that you need to target. It's going to be harder for big organizations. So you need some data skills to identify those customers and to target those particular customers and convert them into repeat customers. Repeat customers in the sense of, if you send through advertisements, you can keep encouraging your existing customers to buy more and more from you. Then the last one is to optimize product placement in stores or on websites. I've spoken about website. I've also spoken about stores and how whenever you enter a store, you find there's a section for everything. you find your bread. Then maybe next to your bread, you find your milk. And maybe when you go to a section where you want to find things like children items, you find their food as well, toys and all that, so that your stores is organized into sections. As you're moving from one part of the store to the other, you realize that things you need to support some of the things you bought are already available in the store. You don't need to go anywhere again. Are we still together? Hello. Someone should just say hi, so I will be sure that we're still together.
Hi. Yes, yes.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you. So that's the benefit of product affinity analysis. So I've been speaking about cross-selling since. So this is basically what it is. I've explained it already. Cross-selling is a sales technique that involves selling related or complementary products to an existing customer. I believe while speaking, I've been able to explain this. It's essentially trying to convince a customer to purchase additional items alongside their initial purchase, right? So, oh, you've bought a notebook. Are you not going to buy a pen? Ah, madam, you buy fish, I get ogu. Ah, Oga, you buy egusi, I get crayfish. You see what's happening, right? I'm sorry, I think I'm having a little technical issue, but it should be resolved in less than a
We
minute.
can hear.
Okay, okay. So, let me. Okay, so I believe it should be resolved by now. Just give me some second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. And you can still see the presentation slide, right?
You're not on the PowerPoint environment now.
Okay. Just give me some second. Add a little. I guess we should be there now, right?
Yes, boss.
Oh, thank you. Sorry for the had a little technical issue here. So like I was saying earlier, cross-selling happens every day. So for small businesses, it won't really matter because you won't really take it serious because it happens just around there every day. As you go to the woman who's selling food in the market, she's selling it, she has this. The person selling egusi tells you, oh, I have oporoko, I have palm oil. You don't need to go elsewhere again. You see what you're trying to do. What you came to buy was different, but now they want you to buy other things that will support what you've bought. In that moment, there isn't data to make decision in that particular moment. So for bigger corporations, that's what's happening there as well. To the need to want to sell you complementary items. Get the idea here. They're not trying to sell you more expensive item like, oh, come on, buy. You're not going to buy. Cross-selling just focuses on related items that will help you. If you should buy, for example, let me sometime while I was moving to my own house, I went out to get curtains. As I was getting curtains and I was about to leave, they said, no, you don't need to leave. You need a rod to hang your curtains. Oh, you need this clip to preserve the curtain. Yeah, and I felt like, okay, it looks nice, and I bought it. To be honest, I didn't plan to buy all those items. I went there, they recommended it. I felt like, okay, it's not too expensive and it's going to make my room look better. I did that. You get the idea. So that's what happens. It happens in your market every day. And as a data analyst, this is something you may have to work in, especially if your business is looking for opportunities to increase sales. Do you have to analyze a large pool of data to get all these values, identify these customers, and push these recommendations to them? Then talking about cross-selling, based on what I've said, you know right here that the goal is to increase sales. That's what the business wants to do. The business wants to increase sales by leveraging an existing customer relationship. The customer relationship is established when the customer is buying something from you immediately. Okay, I'm buying a TV. Oh, you're buying a TV. We have extension. I have a TV guard, something you need to put on your wall to protect your TV. Oh, you're buying a TV. I think you should get Go TV or DSTV. They are very nice. What about I forgot what they call it. It's like a rack, something that helps you to mount your TV. You get what's happening there? They are leveraging existing relationship. So if a customer has not bought an item from you before, cross-selling cannot happen. You get that? So you see, talking about product, cross-selling focuses on products that complement the initial purchase, not necessarily a more expensive version. When you start talking about expensive version, you start talking about upselling. I've repeated that over and over. So I'm basically repeating myself. So you see that here, it focuses on products that complement the initial purchase. So it will be silly if someone comes to buy a TV and the next thing you want to sell the person a car. That's not cross-selling. You're just like, my TV I come buy. What are we talking about? A car. So let me think about another example. Let's see. Let me think about another example. Okay, before I continue, one of you can the moderator can just select one person who has raised his or her hand up to give one example of cross-selling, just to make sure that someone understands what I'm saying before I continue.
Okay. There is no one raising their hands currently, but if you would like to answer the question, please kindly raise your hand and then kind of mute your mic to answer the question. I also have a question anyway.
All right.
Okay, so Jalil has sent one, sneakers and socks.
Yes, exactly. You're buying sneakers and the salesperson is telling you that, oh, we have nice socks that will go with these particular sneakers. Yeah, that's true. That's a nice one. Thank you very much. So if you have questions, we'll just wait through the end of the sessions, then we'll take all questions together, right? Okay, so I have a simple example here. I think I've mentioned this earlier. A customer buying a printer, and the salesperson might recommend ink cartridges, printer paper, or extended warranty. And I think some companies do this now when it comes to the sales of phone. For example, whenever a company is selling you some phone, it's not very common though. Some companies tell you that they want to offer you an insurance, that they want to sell some insurance to you so that you protect the screen of your phone. I think this is very important for expensive phones like Samsung and iPhone, where sometimes you have to spend between 50 to 200,000 naira to replace some of the screen. So whenever you're buying the phone, like, oh, you just bought this phone, we want to sell you some insurance. You just spend a little stipend. If anything should happen to your phone during the period of your of the insurance, we're going to pay so and so amount to you for you to use to repair your screen. And it applies the same thing in Computer Village. For example, if you're buying a phone, they're going to be selling you a screen guard, they are going to be selling you a phone pouch. Remember, the goal, your objective was buying the phone, but now you're getting the screen guard, you're getting the pouch, for example, and what else? I think that's the two common things you buy whenever you're getting a phone. So benefits of cross-selling. So increases revenue. It's just related to the analysis. The analysis helps you to identify, then you cross-sell. If your cross-selling is successful, you have increased revenue because the more items you are selling, the more money the company is making. So instead of making 20,000 from a particular transaction with the customer, you're making like 20,500 naira. The business 500 naira from 10 customers today is a lot of money. Then stronger customer relationship, so it shows you understand their needs and can provide solution. And I think it's also a good thing because as a business, as you're offering solutions to customers tend to trust you more. Like, oh no, don't worry about my phone, I'm taking it to so places. If anything is wrong with it, they know what to do, they know how to do it, they'll tell me what to do. Then improved customer lifetime value. That is, it encourages repeat businesses. For example, if a customer is just buying bread from you always and buying milk, Milo, egg, and butter from other businesses, you are losing on that money. But if that customer is spending all that money in your business, let's say e-commerce or supermarket, over a period of 10 years, when you look back, you realize that the customer has spent a lot of money there. And if you keep giving value, the customer will keep coming back. Why? Because you've not failed them once, and you are able to identify things they need and provide it to them before they even think about it. So that's just it. Then about real life scenarios, I wanted to do this as a session alone before, but we've spoken about it and I've given a lot of examples, the real life examples. And as a data professional who uses SQL or SQL, as you may want to call it, these are kind of business problems that you would want to ask. In this instance now, you will not be the one in the front of the store. You will not be the one relating to customers. You're going to be somewhere sitting on the computer, writing some queries to identify these business opportunities and these cross-selling strategies that the business you're working for is going to use to derive more revenue. So if you bought your analysis, it means your business is going to lose money. But if you're a good analyst who knows how to use SQL, who has a good ability to identify complex problems and break them down, and you're also adept in this analysis and how to identify business opportunities where, for example, your executives can just take reports that you've built, how you segmented your customers, how you've identified customers that should be targeted. They can use that to push push business promotions that will bring more customers and more sales, right? And another thing could be to solve a problem. For example, a particular item could not be selling well in the company. From your analysis like this, you can identify problems problems like that and where products should be placed better to promote sales. So let's move on to questions and answers, and so we can round up the session.
All right, thank you very much. Listen, so please, can we see like a demo of some of these things you have said, probably on SQL environment, so that our participants can see that, okay, all these things we have just learned can actually be done on SQL, probably with just a simple data set or something.
Okay, you give me some seconds. Maybe while we answer some
Okay, and if you
questions.
don't mind, I can, okay, all right. I can also share a sample with you, a sample
Okay, if you
data
have a
set.
sample, if you have a sample with you, you should share. Mine is going to take a bit time.
All right, it's just, let me share
Yeah.
it with you. I'll drop the link
Uh,
on in your inbox
all right. On WhatsApp, right?
on WhatsApp, yes.
Okay. So if they have other questions, we can attend to those questions first. Everywhere is quiet. No question.
I believe a lot more people want to see a demo of a lab session or a hands-on session of how this is possible. So we can quickly do that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I've shared it with you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll need to set this up. So if you have other questions, I can answer those questions first.
Okay, there's a question here. Can SQL be used independently to do this analysis, or is it always in conjunction with with tools like Power BI?
So it depends. It depends, right? So there are instances where the business may just require you to just do some simple analysis and extract the data and send it to them. They don't want you to visualize anything, right? So all you have to do in that instance is just write a SQL query, extract your data, perform your analysis, export it and send it to whoever will be using the data for business decisions. But there are instances where some businesses want to monitor what's happening in the business. So in instances like that, there may be the need to create some visuals. So you may need an external tool, for example, to visualize the data like Power BI. So you write SQL, perform your analysis, you visualize your data in Power BI, depending on the need. It's not necessarily that you must use the tool. Some instances, you can just export the data to Excel, and then from Excel, you can take it forward from there. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I still have another question.
Okay.
I'm just inquisitive actually. I want to know like storage for like the data warehouse for the SQL tool. Is it always like for example in banks I know they have it on tables or on some sort of storage, maybe some servers. Is it always going to be like that? Is there a possibility for everything to be stored like online in the cloud?
Of course, of course. Your data can be stored anywhere. You can have an in-house data server where your database, or for example, your data warehouse is hosted, or alternatively, you can have it hosted in the cloud somewhere, maybe on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, right? Depending on the need and the level of and the issues related to compliance. Due to compliance, some people cannot host their data on the cloud. So it depends on the need of your business, the industry, and the kind of regulatory issues that they have to deal with. Are you good? Are you good with that?
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen and also show you an example. I was supposed to work with the data that was shared with me, but due to some little stuff, I can't actually import it at the moment. I have some restrictions here. So I'm pushing this over to your screen. I believe you should be able to see it now. Are we there together? Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so for this simple demo, this is going to be a very basic something, but it's going to show you some little possibilities on what is possible and how you can use some of these things. So I have a Northwind data set here. It's also about business orders, the details of the orders. You have cost. This is what a database will look like. This
You're
Northwind,
not
this
sharing your screen, no.
You're not.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I'm not
can
sharing
see
my
your
screen.
screen.
No,
Oh,
you're not.
are you serious? That's weird. Okay, you should see my screen now. I thought I've been sharing my screen. How about now?
It's up.
Good. So what you're seeing here is a database. Each of these is a database. This adventure works. This is sample airline data I used for a sample analysis. So the one I want to show you here is called Northwind. You can, if you have the time, you can just read about the database. But these are all the different tables in that particular database. So in a database, you can have multiple tables, and all these tables can have relationships with each other. But what I want to focus on is the order and order details table. That's what I want to show you here. So for example, if a data is stored in the database, you need to write some SQL command or statement to extract that data. And you start your command with a select statement. What do you want to do? You want to select all. You use asterisk to refer to all. Select all records from, right? From which table are we looking at? We're looking at the orders table, for example. So I'll go here and I'll say DBO dot orders. I'm trying to type this as slow as possible. If I type it fast, let me see. And because we don't want all the records from that table to come to show up, we want to limit the number of records we want to see. So let's say 50, for example, and we run this. Let's see, incorrect syntax near 50. Not possible. And usually when you experience errors when trying to run your query, you should not be scared. It's a normal thing. You will run into errors all the time. Let me see why the query is failing. Let me see. Weird. It shouldn't be failing. Not WinDB. Let me go back to this. SQL. That's weird. It should not be failing. So let me go back to this. So what you have here, all the columns were listed out. Oh, this is not a Postgres SQL. So I was writing Postgres. That's one thing with SQL. For if you're writing SQL, there are different dialects. For example, like a language, right? SQL is like a language. Then the dialects are like Postgres, Microsoft SQL. But the good thing is that if you get the fundamentals right, when you run into issues like this, you will know what is happening and why it happened. So the moment I wrote limit 50 here and it failed, but when I ran this and I saw top 100, so to get the same result here, all I have to do is change this to, let's say 50 again. 50. We're going to get the 50 results. And I can still run the normal command or all columns, and we'll still be fine. We have 50 results. So what you're seeing in this table are orders. For example, I know some of you order things online. So what you see here are the orders. Each ID here is to identify that particular order. So we have order ID, we have employee ID, the customer ID. The customer ID helps you to identify the particular customer. Then you have all this information about that particular order, from the shipment date to shipment address. And let's look at this for example. But there's something here that's missing. For example, there's no details about the product that was bought. You get that? That's what you find in the order details table. So let's go here. Let's say order details and run this. So you see in the order details table, we now have the order ID, the product ID, and the unit price of the item that was bought. Now look at something that is happening here related. I want to focus more on something that's related to the topic that we are treating. Look at this carefully. Remember that the order ID here is repeated how many times? 3 times, right? But you will notice that the customer bought different products. Are you guys with me?
Yes,
Good.
we are.
Okay. You will notice that the customer bought different products. He brought the product that has ID 11, bought another product that has ID 14. Then you get the unit price for those particular items, the quantity, and if discount was applied to it or not. Now imagine that we check this for multiple products. Then we'll be able to identify products that customers are buying together at the same time, right? So let's try to improve this particular query and get, for example, the product name. So to do this, whenever you want to join, get data from another table, what you have to perform is called a join. So in this instance, we'll be performing a left join. Left join. I'll copy this whole story here. So we have the DB, we have this, but this time around, when we come here, let's look for the product table. Let's see categories. Yeah, that should have the product ID. Category ID. Let's see, where are you? Not wind orders. Other details. Oh, I see the product table here. The product table is down here. This is it, dbo.product. So, and whenever you are performing a join like this, you need a unique identifier, something that helps you to identify that particular product. For example, here we have the product ID in the other details table, but in the product table, the name of that particular column could be different. It could just be something called ID. So it's still the same product ID, and it tells you that it is the primary key. When you see PK next to a column like this, it tells you that that's the primary key of that particular column. So we'll say on. So in this instance, let's give this an alias. For example, let's say this is order details, and let's give this an alias and call this P. So we say on od dot. We have product ID is equal to, let's see, what do we do? This will become P dot product ID. So if I should run this, it's going to return the entire column, all columns from both tables. Now, we can easily see the product that customers are buying together. For example, look at this right here. We have order ID. These are the products. And now we get to see the name of the product that the customer bought. So we have, okay, I can't pronounce it, Queso, whatever, Singaporean this. We have this, right? Imagine that we filter this data for a particular period, and we have customers that are buying products from a particular supplier, and they also buy products from another supplier or from another vendor. That's going to be helpful for us. Imagine we want to identify the supplier, we can use this. Want to identify the category that product belongs to, we can do this as well. Are they office equipment? Are they what else again? Let me see, office equipment, farming farming machine, for example. You can get the category that they all belong to here. So for example, let's limit the columns that we need here. For example, what we just need is the order ID. We don't need the product ID anymore. What we just need is the product name. Product name. And let me see. Is there anything that's relevant here? Quantity. Okay, no, let's focus on this two for now. Here we are able to get the product name. These are products that were bought. This is telling you that all the order ID and the product name. What I want to do is to limit this to a particular order. The order we saw earlier that had multiple records. Let me go back there and get that particular order again. In the meantime, I'll do this, and so I want this order ID. So we can filter this particular record to focus on this alone. So we say where. You use where is for where you want to apply some condition. You want to limit the amount of data that you're seeing. So for example, we want to get the details for this order only. So we say where order order ID, we reference the column name is equal to this particular value. So if we should run this now, we should have only that value. In that instance, we don't need top 50 anymore, because now we've applied a condition that gives us just a single record. So this is what I was driving at initially. If we want to analyze this data for example, we can analyze the data so that we limit it to all customers that ordered this product and another product, right? So where we can say, let me select these three. Let me select these three orders. I can say where product ID. What I'm doing here is to fit out for orders that are related to these three product ID in. I'll just pass in the three values that we just saw. Here, product ID in this. So we have multiple product IDs. So I have to be specific about the one I want. So I want the one coming from the order details table. So I'm going to specify that and say OD. Yeah. And the error that we see here will be gone. So I'll just run this. What am I finding? Could not find stored procedure product IDs. Product ID is not a stored procedure. Let me see. Fine. So these are customers who bought. This is the first order we don't forget this. This is the first order that we have here. Notice that, right? And we see that that customer has bought this item multiple times. This customer, for example. Then we have different customers who, let me try and order this. Let me order it by, let me see, 62, 68. And you can now style. What you're doing here basically is you're narrowing down a group of customers who fall into a particular category. I see this customer ID here. I see it here as well. So let me order it such that the customer IDs are close to each other. Ideally, I want to analyze this data, export it. But if I start doing that, it's going to take some time. So let me just find simple things that will explain what we are trying to do. Order by, in this instance, let me say order by order ID. Order by order ID first. Then we want to, let me see. Good. So we have this customer. I want other IDs that are similar. Customers who have bought the same items over and over again. And we see for product 72, for me, I'm seeing product 72 more frequently. So what you want to do next is to identify these customers, segment them into a cluster, and see how they are related. One information that is very relevant in all this that is not showing here at the moment is the customer who is buying this particular item, because it helps you. For example, you can use the customer details to know where the customer is living. That means that you can target your advertisement to a particular location. Let me go to the front here a bit and see. Okay, we don't have that details here. I'll need to perform a join on the orders table to get the customer details. So we have the customer details. We have if we have the customer details, it means that we have the address and location where that customer lives. That way we know the people living in a particular location, right? If you want to see customers who have ordered the same item, for example, you can perform a count in this instance. Let me see. Let's say you are asked that who are all the customers who have bought, count the total number of customers who have bought at least one of these items. That's a sample questions, for example. The total number of customers who have bought at least one of these. product, we can run that. Let me see, blah 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 blah. Okay, there's no need for order if I'm performing this. So let me take this out. So we have 106 customers. 106 customers who have bought at least one of these items. So your product team can say, okay, we have some customers who are buying 2 and 3 or 4 of this item. Target the customers who have bought this item only once. You see, that's a further question. We have customers who have bought at least one of this item. That's 106. Out of that 106 customers, who has bought only one of these products? We get the count of those customers. We say, okay, we want those customers to buy the other 2 items. Remember that the products here are 3, but the customer has bought only one. So we want to try and push an advertisement, for example, to this customer or for future customers, such that whenever they come into our platform, whenever any of these customers who have not bought this to come to our platform, we send an advert to them and say, oh, customers who bought this or to bought this would like you to also buy it. You understand? So we have an opportunity to reach up to close to 106 customers to buy our product. This is just a starting point of a place of how you can use SQL to store to solve a problem like this. I didn't really prepare a proper hands-on exercise, since I thought it was just a presentation, so I just had to show you this example. You can, if you have questions on this particular one, ask me questions. Let's see. Oh, hello, are you guys there?
Yes, we have. Thank you very much. Thank you for this wonderful explanation. At least it has made us to understand that we can actually achieve those explanations that you gave earlier using SQL. So please, if you have any question, please ask. This is just like a tip of the iceberg. So please, if you have any question, please, you can ask. Anything. How did the data get there? Is this how? Just ask any question. Anything that you have been thinking that, oh, how did this happen? Just ask it, please. So are we saying we all understand what he has taught us? We don't have any question.
If that's true, then I'm a good teacher. Wait, everybody understands.
Wow,
No, that's weird.
Give you thumbs up. All right, so there is no question.
Okay. Okay. If there's no
So
question.
I'll be just asking this question for a friend, because some people, I'm sure probably some of my friends here or someone that will still be watching the replay might want to ask, how did this data get into this database? Is a very funny question. Like I said, I'm asking for a friend. So can you just let them know that this is okay? If we are starting SQL class, we are going to be starting from the basis of how to download and the rest. So I'm just asking for a friend. Is it that when I open SQL, I'll just meet these data sets there? What are the steps that I was taking to get some of these tables into your database? You don't have to you can just tell us, please.
Okay. So thank you. So to your data, okay, usually if you, as a business person, you are familiar with things like Excel files, text files, PDF documents. Those are files that you work with every day from time to time. So imagine if you have like millions of Excel files from the year 2003 sitting in OneDrive or SharePoint somewhere on your computer. It's going to be really hard to access those files, right? Because you have to look for the particular file. You have to know the name of the file. The file is large. You have to wait for that file to open. It's really hard to work with that kind of data. So that's what gave birth to the idea of databases. You have a central location where you can store all your data. You give them structure in forms of table. So for that to happen, there are different ways where you can create databases. Databases, you can write some statements, for example, that you want to create a particular table in a database, right? You can say, okay, I want to add a new database here or connect to a new database that exists. You can copy data from an existing database to your own database. Then there are backups of databases that exist. For example, this not win is the backup. I got the backup and I have it here now on my system. Other options, there's a there's a role called the role of a data engineer. The data engineer is basically responsible for consolidating and aggregating the entire data of a business into a data warehouse, for example, or a database. That means the data engineer is going to create databases like this, is going to create table. As a data analyst, most of the time you may not be saddled with this kind of responsibility, except you are working in a startup, for example. But for big organizations where there are specializations and divisions of labor, data engineer will be responsible for creating your databases, is responsible for populating the database with data. Your own is to interact with the data. Then you can create views, you can create your own versions of existing table that perform better, right? For the purpose of analysis. In other cases, you have like a database administrator. The administrator manages the entire database. He gives access to people, because if you're working in an organization, you don't want anybody to have access to your database. The administrator is going to manage the permissions that people have to tables like this, because somebody can mistakenly delete the entire database and your business is going to be in the dark. You don't know what is going to happen. Is happening. For example, you have websites. Some websites are pulling data from databases. They send requests, the database will give them access to it. So someone is responsible for this job, for these tables, creating it. That's the data engineer or the database administrator. There are rare cases where you will need to do this, to create your own tables or to create views that you can work with. I'm coming, let me see. Yeah, you see views here. Views here are just basically you're tired of writing the query over time. Like, for example, this query now, imagine you have to write it every day you come to the office. You write it today, you write it tomorrow, you write it next tomorrow to pull data and over and over and over. You can create a view and share it with the operations team. For example, they're going to write some simple query just like this one, but you're going to save it as a view, and it's going to create a table for you. That table we have to that query we have to run each time we run that particular table. So the idea is, following this structure, you can do anything. You can create a table, you can create a view, either you can have a normal view, or you can have a materialized view, or you can take this query and use it elsewhere as well. And permissions are also managed here. And this is where you start worrying about permission securities, users. But you may not have to worry yourself about this aspect when it comes to security and user, the database administrator, except if you have the goal to grow from a data analyst to become a database administrator or a data engineer. Then as you grow, you also learn about those ones. And sometimes you can import files into databases. Let's say, for example, this airline database you are seeing here, for example, is empty. But when I started it, I imported Excel files that I downloaded from the internet. I imported them as tables and I performed some analysis with it. But because since it was a private data that I needed to analyze from someone, when I was done, I deleted all the tables from here to ensure data privacy. So for example, you can choose to say, okay, I want to create a table, and right here, you define your primary key, you define your columns. These are simple steps. This is like a drag and drop kind of thing. But whenever you want to do something faster or you need more options to do some complex work, you don't want to be clicking on columns one after the other. Notice that as I'm clicking on this, look at this, a table is being created. Create a table in this database, new table, give it a name, column 1, column 2. All I have to do is rename this and my query will be here. But it's important you start from here. You you should be able to write this on your own. Then after doing that, you run it like the way we run the SQL query just now. A new table will appear here. And please, when you learn stuff like this, have a learning environment where you practice it. Don't touch a production server. Don't update anything on the production server, because with the wrong move, you can crash an entire business down. Thank you. Because your business will just fail. I have friends who are data analysts and engineer, and it happens. You just run command, you drop table, and that's it. Your business, so what's happening? You won't be able to confess because you made a terrible mistake. So you should be very careful with that.
Thank you very, very much, Linson, for that wonderful explanation. I also ask if anyone still has any other question to ask him before we round up on the section. And I still have one more information to share with us. So, but I would like to take questions if we have any.
No question.
Okay, so it seems we don't have any question. So thank you very much. Please, can you allow me to share my screen, please?
That's fine.
Thank you. So, like I said when we started this section, that this masterclass is just a taster section of our upcoming data analytics class that is starting on the 6th of April. Okay. So that is starting on the 6th of April. And the course will be running for 10 weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. The cost of the prize is 200,000. We had an early bird price of 175,000 naira that is already, it's closed. It's closed on the 16th of March. And in the course, you'll be learning Microsoft Excel, you'll be learning Microsoft Power BI, and you are going to be learning SQL. So just like what we have learned in on this section today, Listen will be teaching us from the basis. He's going to tell us some of these things we have learned today and even more right from the basis. So even if you don't know anything about SQL in the past, you are going to be learning from the basis to the advanced. So, and these are courses to be certified by CPD. It's a CPD accredited certificate you'll be getting. And we are not going to be leaving you with just the SQL, Power BI, and the Microsoft Excel skills. We are also going to be teaching you about freelancing, and that will be taken by someone that is um, a pro in that field, so that in case you want to get freelancing rules after you have taken your course, you can actually get that. So please, if you want to learn more about the course, I'll be dropping the link to learn more about it and also to register in case you want to enroll for the course in the chat room. So thank you very much once again for joining us on this section. I would like to know if anyone has any question to ask about our upcoming class so that I can answer that question. Thank you. So please, if you have any question, I will drop the link to register now. Okay, so I'll take that as that we don't have any question. So thank you once again for joining us for this section. You are going to be getting the replay of this section through your mail, and you can actually go over it if you need to. So I don't know if Tayo has any other thing to add to this before we close the section.
Oh,
Hi,
nothing from
Tayo.
me. Yeah, I'm here. Nothing from me. Thank
Oh,
you
all
for
right.
the
Okay.
facilitated session. Thank you, Lenson. And yes, you're a great teacher. Thank you.
Yes, you are really. So thank you everyone for joining us, and please do enjoy the rest of your week. Sorry, the week is even has ended already. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a very lovely and restful weekend. Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.